Fellas, ladies, welcome to the Week 3 grind of DFS Rebels, brought to you by BetAngles. With player pick'em contests, computer-generated sports betting picks, and sports research tools, together we will rise to the top. Make sure you smash that like button, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. It's your boy David Dietrich, aka Double D. I'm here as always with Robert Smith, aka Twitch. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic.
All right, let's get into this. So make sure you join the rebellion. All right, so the first game is the Chicago Bears versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are a 3-point favorite. The over and under is 47 points. All right, the injury report, the key injuries here for Chicago: Khalil Mack, knee, is limited in practice. He's questionable. And for the Falcons, Julio Jones is questionable with a hamstring injury. He did not practice today, so we'll see if he plays. All right, so let's talk about the Bears first. I like Mitchell Trubisky for sure. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game for sure. I think the Falcons are going to be up on them. So Trubisky, I love the garbage time stats. He thrives in that. And you pair him up definitely with Allen Robinson. I mean, that's the only really thing I like on this game. Trubisky with Allen Robinson. David Montgomery, he did get involved in the passing game. He had last week 3 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. So that's actually good if they can get him going in the passing game. But I know they gave Tyreek Cohen some money last week. They gave him an extension, so I don't know. He hasn't been doing much. For the Falcons, definitely Matt Ryan, definitely Ridley. Julio Jones, if he plays, throw him in. But if he doesn't play Ridley, I like him more. The tight end Hayden Hurst, I don't know. I'm not liking him. What do you think?
Well, just right off the bat, Mitchell the Truth Trubisky,
yes, sir,
is in play with all of his receivers, and I'm talking Allen Robinson, I'm talking Miller, I'm even talking Jimmy Graham.
Okay, yeah, I don't like Jimmy Graham as much, but what do you like?
The Falcons, they have a terrible defense, so I can see any of those receivers getting in for a touchdown. I'm heavy on Montgomery. I have a lot of him.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I like how they got involved in the passing game.
So obviously Robinson is the safer bet, but if you're going cheaper, to bigger GPPs, you want to go Miller. He has potential. On the other side, you want to look at Atlanta. Matt Ryan's always a play. He's Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fading him in this slate a little
Okay.
bit. I'm just not. There's many other quarterbacks as priced.
I'm not high on Todd Gurley. He looks slow right now.
I'm not on Gurley at all. I love Hayden Hurst. He's my favorite play.
Okay.
If Julio Jones play, I'm all over Ridley. If Julio Jones is out, it's Gage. Gage is locked in for me, and that's all I really have for this game.
Okay, sounds good. The next game, we got the LA Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are a 2-point favorite. The over and under is 47 points. Key injuries. Start with the Bills. Quite a few. They got the tight end Dawson Knox. He's out with a concussion. Zach Moss, the rookie, he's out with a toe injury. Cornerback Josh Norman, out, hamstring. Linebacker Matt Maloney, what's his name? Milano, sorry. He was a full practice today, questionable though, still with a hamstring. And then the other linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds, shoulder, limited practice, questionable. Okay, for the LA Rams, key injury is only Cam Akers, running back. He has ribs. He's out for this week 3. All right, so getting to this game, let's start with the Rams. Jared Goff is surprisingly looking good. They're off to a 2-0 start. Bills defense, very good, but they did give up 28 points last week to the Dolphins, so I think the Rams can put up some points. Guys you can stack with Jared Goff. Tyler Higbee had a big game last week. I'm fading that. I'm going to go with Robert Woods with a big comeback game. He only had 2 catches last week. Cooper Kupp you can always throw in there. I think he's going to have a good week as well. But who do you think the cornerback over there for the Bills? They got Tre'Davious White. Who's he going to be matched up against, you think?
He should be on Kupp. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay. So depending on who he's on, he is a good cornerback. I think Robert Woods maybe I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, those are the only 2 guys I like for the Rams. The running game I do not like. I'm fading all the running backs on the Rams. For the Bills, Josh Allen, stud. Yeah, I'm all over that. Stephon Diggs, he might get the Jalen Ramsey treatment. We'll see, but Stephon Diggs had a big game last week. But John Brown is probably the play. He's going to be the lower owned guy. Obviously, everybody's probably going to be on Diggs after what he did last week. And Devin Singletary with Zach Moss, with him being out, they're going to get him more involved in the passing game, I hope. So yeah, in that game, the Josh Allen and John Brown.
For me, Josh Allen and his big dick energy is just locked in. Besides for that, yep, Singletary with Moss out is just in a juicy spot. I do see Ramsey going to be on Diggs, so I do like John Brown. I like Beasley, especially on DK, PPR. Beasley is always
good call.
He always gets a share of targets. He's cheap. The one thing is the Rams they were in the East Coast and then they flew home and then they came back. So I don't know if that's going to play to anything.
They had the rookie involved, Van Jefferson, last week. He did have 4 catches, 45 yards.
I'm a fan of his. I think he hopefully gets more involved, especially if Tre'Davious Wright.
Are you on any of these running backs for the Rams?
With Tre'Davious Wright on Cooper Kupp, I actually do like the Van Jefferson play. The running backs, no, absolutely.
Malcolm Brown.
Henderson finally looked like what people wanted him to be last year. But I'm just not liking it for this particular matchup.
He has a big playability, but yeah, I'm not high on the Rams running backs.
So just for me, I'm on Josh Allen. I'm on John Brown, Beasley. Woods is a really good play. Higbee, he was the stud last week, but I don't like him. And looking at his ownership projections, a lot of people are not on him.
Okay. All right, next game, the Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are a 7-point favorite. And the over and under is 45 points. Injuries to note about for the Washington football team: Reuben Foster, linebacker, knee out. And then receiver Steven Sims has a toe injury. He's questionable. The Cleveland Browns, stud cornerback Denzel Ward, groin, did not practice. Is questionable. So that's big right there. And then the tight end David Njoku, MCL sprain, out. All right, so the first up, Washington football team, I'm not really high in this game. The Browns are a 7-point favorite, so, Dwayne Haskins is probably going to pick up some garbage stats here. But if Denzel Ward is out, Terry McLaurin, though, is looking at like a big play. If they're, like I said, if they're behind, McLaurin's just going to be racking up stats, especially in PPR leagues. Last week, what did he have? He had 7 catches, 125 yards with a touchdown. That's big. Besides that, not really high in the Washington football team. And you can throw a dart on the running back Antonio Gibson. They're getting him more involved, 13 rushes, 55 yards, and then also, 1 catch for -3, so that's nothing to, go home and brag about. Browns, being that they're a 7-point favorite, I'm actually high on Nick Chubb. The game script goes his way. I know in a little bit you're going to be on Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, you can always throw a dart throw on him. Baker Mayfield, I'm not high on it. I like the running game this week. I think it's going to be a Nick Chubb week. I think they're going to rush him 20 times. Over 100 yards. But yeah, the Washington football team defense does have a stout front 7. But I think Nick Chubb is a good play. Not so much on OBJ and Jarvis Landry. I'm not high in the passing game in this one. What do you think?
You're on Chubb. I'm not, just because that defense, Washington's defense is pretty good. I love Hunt, though, because he's also less owned. And he acts as a receiver. Like, he just runs out there and catches the passes as much as he catches the dump offs. So he has more of an upside, I think, for this particular game. Besides for that, on the other side, McLaurin is pretty much all they have, especially if Ward does not play or if he's not at 100%. Logan Thomas is there, and he does have the volume. And Cincinnati was able to use the tight end well against Cleveland, so yes, I don't see why they can't use Logan Ryan. So if I'm off Haskins, but he can get it done with those two. Those two will get points.
All right, next game, the Tennessee Titans versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Tennessee Titans are a 3-point favorite. The over and under is 49 points. Key injuries for the Tennessee Titans: A.J. Brown, knee out, and cornerback Adoree Jackson, knee also out. For the Vikings, they lost Anthony Barr, linebacker, to a pectoral injury. He's out. And then Daniel Hunter, DN, neck injury, out. All right, so this game, we'll start with Tennessee first. Derrick Henry, he lost me money last week. I was all over him. I made a rookie mistake. I plugged him in all my lines. He did not have a great game against the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. The game script was all in his favor. I don't know what happened there, but I'm going to be back on the Derrick Henry train here. I'm going to fade Tannehill. I think he's going to rely on the running game more. I do like Jonnu Smith. It looks like he's going to have a good year this year. I think he could have a touchdown in this game. Just in case they do throw the ball out, I do like Adam Humphries. With A.J. Brown out, they have Corey Davis too. But I do like Adam Humphries if they do end up falling behind for some reason. For the Vikings, not liking anybody as much. Maybe Dalvin Cook is the only guy I'm interested in. Looks like he's looking at low ownership this week in both FanDuel and DraftKings. So if Dalvin Cook, they run through. Let's be serious. Let's be real. The Minnesota Vikings, they run their offense through Dalvin Cook. So if they're gonna win the game, he's gonna have a big game. I'm not on Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen. I'm not liking any of those guys. If anybody, it's just Dalvin Cook for me.
This is a close line. It's only a 3-point favorite.
I'm liking both running backs actually in this game.
Yeah. So it's a close line, and with A.J. Brown out and Minnesota at home, Minnesota's not out of this game. And like you were talking about Dalvin Cook, he's actually my favorite stud. With Barkley and McCaffrey not on it, and Elliott being so chalky this week, I actually prefer Cook all the way on this with his lower ownership and his potential to break out in this game. I do, Thielen is still a good play. Justin Jefferson, the coach said they want to get more involved. I do like Justin Jefferson.
Good call.
I have him in some leagues.
He's talented. He's very talented.
But listen, Tannehill does not get the respect that he's been deserving. He's been very, very good fantasy producer, and even without A.J. Brown, he's still. I love the Humphries play for GPPs is beautiful, but Juno Smith, he can pass it to Henry. Tannehill is a very safe bet. I actually have a lot of exposure to him in a lot of different lines. So yeah, I'm all over the Cook. I don't like Henry, but I do like the Humphries play.
All right, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the New England Patriots. The Patriots are a 6-point favorite. The over and under is 47 points. All right, a lot to talk about with the injuries. First with the Raiders, Nick Kalowski, linebacker, pectoral injury, out. Rookie Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, knee injury, out for week 3. Offensive tackle Trent Brown, calf injury, out. Josh Jacobs, hip, he's questionable, limited at practice. Darren Waller, knee injury, limited practice, questionable. Starting center, Richie Incognito, Achilles injury, he's out. And then receiver, Tyrell Williams, also out. And he's out for the season. Now, for the Patriots, James White, we all know, personal, he's going to be out this week. N'Keal Harry, ankle injury, questionable. Julian Edelman, receiver, obviously knee injury. He's had a limited practice, questionable. I'm sure he's going to play. And then the running back, Damian Harris, finger injury, out.
I'm going to take the reins on this one real quick. Everyone knows that I am a diehard Raiders fan. So it pains me a lot when I have to say tomorrow Cam Newton is actually my favorite quarterback on this entire slate.
Wow, that's crazy. You're going against your own team.
Listen, there's many reasons. If you want to play the Patriots defense, go for it. With the Raiders line so banged up, there's going to be a lot of sacks. A lot of sacks.
Yeah, good call. Wow, I wasn't thinking about that.
Might even be a fumble. It's going to be tragic for my Raiders. It's going to be, I'm going to be so upset. But Cam, he's looked every bit of a Superman that they talked him up to be. He is the main rusher on the Patriots, and the Raiders can't stop the run.
Yeah, Kamara had a field day last week.
Yeah, he has great receivers like Edelman and N'Keal Harry. They're all going to be in play. The Raiders have Joyner Lucas, not Lucas, that's the rapper. Joyner, who's just terrible, and then they have Annette, who's a rookie. It's going to be a slaughter. So just choose whatever you want on that side. It's going to be insane. For the Raiders, Waller is fantastic, but Belichick is a defensive guru. He's going to try and deal with that. I don't like Waller, though, because he's incredibly high-owned. And I don't want to use high-owned players against a good defense. And then Josh Jacobs, always in play. He's such a stud. But again, if Belichick feels that that's the only threat, he's going to do whatever he can to stop. If I'm playing anything from the Raiders, it's Josh Jacobs, and that's it. don't get me wrong, I love Brian Edwards. I think he has a ton of potential, but I just don't see him getting it going in this game.
All right, so I'm not high on this game. I'm with you. I know it's your favorite team, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not playing anybody on this team. Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a stud. Don't get me wrong, but this is not the game script for him. Game script. Darren Waller, he had 16 targets last week against the Saints, but you know Bill Belichick, he likes to take down your number one threat. So I think they're gonna focus on Josh Jacobs, stopping Josh Jacobs and Waller. So yeah, I'm fading the Raiders. And I'm with you with the Patriots, Cam Newton, all day. He's looking great this season. I think he's looking to prove everybody wrong. He has a lot on his shoulders, and I think he's having a great season so far. He's running the ball at an elite rate. He's looking like the Cam Newton of old in his MVP campaign. I like to pair him up with those two receivers, N'Keal Harry and Julian Edelman. They're both a good place this week. So, if anything, I do love Cam Newton, and I do love the Patriots defense. All right, we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the New York football team Giants. The 49ers are a 3-point favorite, and the over and under is 42 points. All right, a lot of injuries here. Tevin Coleman, knee, out. Jimmy Garoppolo, ankle, out. Raheem Mostert, MCL sprain, out. George Kittle, MCL sprain, out. Dee Ford, back, out. Nick Bosa, torn ACL, out for the season. Richard Sherman, calf, out. Deebo Samuel, foot injury, out. And for the Giants, we got Saquon Barkley. He's got torn ACL, out for the season. Sterling Shepard, toe injury, out. And then Xavier McKinnon, the rookie safety, foot injury, out. All right, so basically, I'm going to cut this one real short. I don't like anybody on the 49ers this week. I know Jerry McKinney was a popular waiver wire pickup this week. Not high on him in this game.
So is Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson, too. I mean, maybe I might like Jeff Wilson, honestly, actually, now that I think about it. I know last year he popped off a couple times when there was injuries last year and running backs. Besides that, this guy, the quarterback now this week, what's his name? Nick Mullins. Nah, I don't know much about him. Not gonna be on him this week.
Mullins had some good games when that year Garoppolo was out. He has potential.
Okay, but like I said, I'm not high on the 49ers this week. I mean, Jordan Reed, coming in for George Kittle, did have 2 touchdowns last week. That might be a sneaky play right there. All right, for the Giants still. Interesting that the Giants. All those injuries. The 49ers defense is not the dominant defense that we are all used to. This could be a sneaky Daniel Jones week. I have a deep feeling that Daniel Jones is going to be passing a lot. They lost Saquon Barkley, obviously, so they don't have much of a running game. They did sign Devontae Freeman this week, and they also had Deion Lewis. But listen, I'm high on Daniel Jones, honestly. I think he's going to be very low owned, maybe like 1% owned this week. They lost Sterling Shepard, so my favorite target this week, I like Evan Ingram this week. Big bounce back game last week. Not too big. He only had 6 catches, 65 yards, but I think he's going to get a touchdown in this one. I like the Daniel Jones with Evan Ingram stack. I also like Golden Tate. He came back last week. He popped off for 5 catches, 47 yards on 5 targets, so he caught all his targets. And Darius Slay, the deep threat, not so much of a big game last week. I only had 3 catches for 33 yards, but I like him as well. But yeah, Daniel Jones, if you want a very, very low-owned stack Daniel Jones with one of your favorite receivers. Who do you like?
Yeah, me and Dave were talking about this before we started doing this recording, that a lot of my lineups are going to be Giants-based. I'm going to have Daniel Jones. I'm going to have the Giants defense, and I'm mostly using Slayton, but
I forgot to mention, I do like the Giants defense this week as well. Sneaky play.
Slayton is like the number 1 guy in the Giants, so you pair him with Jones. You could pair Tate, you could pair Evan Ingram, but it's so low owned. It's so juicy if you get chalky with other plays.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. If you get 40 passing attempts last week.
But if you get chalky with like Elliott and then the Seahawks and Cowboys, then this is the perfect stack for you to take down a GPP. I absolutely love it.
This is a milli maker right here.
There's more injuries on the defensive side on San Francisco than you even mentioned. Their defense is tragic right now.
What's your thoughts on real quick on Deion Lewis? You on him?
Well, this week they're going to be splitting carries between Lewis and Goldman. Freeman isn't really going to be a thing this week. I'm not on either one.
Yeah.
But one thing is, San Francisco did not travel home. They stayed on the East Coast. So I don't know if you want to take that into account. But the thing is, San Francisco doesn't want to play here. very outspoken about how that turf on the field is dangerous. They don't like it. All their injuries happen. They don't want to play here. So I don't know if that's gonna make some of those players not play as hard. I'm not really sure how it's gonna affect them. Again, Mullins was kind of surprising on some games when he did have the start a lot of. So he's not in play for me, but he's a thing. Wilson and McKinnon are both in, but I'm not on them. That's about it.
Your boy Brandon Ayuk.
Not with Mullins throwing. I do like Ayuk a lot. I'm just not on anything. San Francisco this week.
Yeah, just play Danny Dimes, baby. All right, next game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a 4-point favorite. The over and under is 47.5. Injuries, Bengals, C.J. Uzomah out with an Achilles injury. And then Geno Atkins, shoulder is also out. For the Eagles, we got Jalen Reagor, rookie receiver. Thumb injury, he's out. Alshon Jeffrey, he has a foot injury, he's out. Fletcher Cox was limited in practice today. He's questionable. And then the safety, Will Parks, he has a hamstring injury, he's out. All right, so let's dive into this game. I like this game, actually. I think there's going to be some points getting scored. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I do like Joe Burrow. He had 61 attempts last week. I don't think he's going to have that many attempts. That's crazy. I've never seen anybody that threw 61 attempts in a long time, unless it was an overtime game. But he did throw for 316 yards. But with all those attempts, he should have had like 500 yards, honestly. But that offensive line is terrible. He was getting pressured all game, so he threw a lot of short passes to Tyler Boyd, Drew Sample. A.J. Green flopped last week, had 13 targets, which is crazy, but only had 3 catches for 29 yards. And it looks like he's going to be going against Darius Slay this week, so I'm not high on him. So my favorite pairing is Tyler Boyd. I'm going back on the train with that. So if you like the Cincinnati Bengals stack, go Joe Burrow and Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon, talk about him real quick. Not high on him right now. Until he has a big game, I'll hop on the train. But at this moment, I'm off Joe Mixon. And for the Eagles, Carson Wentz, no, I'm not going to go with him this week. I'm not a fan of him. Though the Bengals defense not so good, but I'm real high with everybody else. I think it's a Miles Sanders week again. He just came back last week, looked good. Had 20 carries last week, and then they targeted him a lot in the passing game as well. So the Bengals defense is going to get shredded by Miles Sanders. So he's going to be heavy chalk, but that's the chalk you want to eat. And then on the receivers, I think Deshaun Jackson is due for a big game as well. So if Carson Wentz does get his passing going, it's going to go to Deshaun Jackson. I'm going to predict 2 touchdowns by this. He's a good player in my eyes, Deshaun Jackson. And then if you want to go Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, you pick either or. But I'm going to go Deshaun Jackson and Miles Sanders. Who do you like?
Well, starting off on Philly first, I'm all over Zach Ertz and Goddard. I think they're fantastic plays. 2 of my favorite tight ends this week. Miles Sanders is heavy chalk, but like you said, that's the chalk you want to eat because his price is just juicy. If you want to flip that around and look at Cincinnati, I love Joe Burrow. He's looked like a stud. He has those rookie mistakes, but he'll fix it up. With Slay going to be on green, I do love Boyd. I'm not on Mixon at all. Mixon has not been involved in the passing game. It's all been Gianni Bernard. So until Mixon get more involved in the passing, he's not a week-to-week starter for me personally. But you want a GPP play, T. Higgins is a GPP play for me.
Good rookie right there.
He got involved last week, and I want to see him more involved.
Yeah, I didn't see no John Ross at all.
But right now, I want to give you a hot take. Hot take.
Who's the hot take? Who is this hot take?
No. Earlier today, I was eating my Malamars, and I was drinking my apple cider. And I think Carson Wentz is getting sacked, injured, and you're going to see Jalen Hurts come in.
Okay.
And you're going to see some action. You're going to see some action between Burrow and Hurts.
I'm going to run the waiver wire and picking him up.
That's my hot take.
All right. The Houston Texans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a 4-point favorite. The over and under is 45.5. Steelers are looks like they're healthy going in this game, so no injuries there. Texans, Kenny Stills, who was limited practice, questionable. And then running back Duke Johnson, ankle, limited practice, he looks questionable. All right, so the 0-2 Texans now. They're not looking bright right. They're not looking good right now.
Just bad.
Yeah, that trade is just looking more horrible and horrible by the day, by the week, by the hour. Deshaun Watson is definitely missing DeAndre Hopkins for sure. But since they're only a 4-point underdog, so Deshaun Watson is going to be going against an elite defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is for real, guys. They're killing it this year, and that's gonna help. I think the Steelers are gonna make a run this year, just with that defense alone. Deshaun Watson is gonna see a lot of pressure. But David Johnson now, the running back that they did get in that trade. They're targeting him a lot in the passing game, which is I like to see.
And he's going to get more targets with Duke Johnson out.
Yeah, so yeah, if Duke Johnson is out, definitely like David Johnson in the passing game because he looks good this year. I mean, they're just not looking like a good team overall, but David Johnson is a sneaky play. Receivers for the Texans, Brandon Cooks, Reggie Cobb, not so much. Will Fuller, I'm never playing again because he just doesn't play. Like what did he do that? Like he didn't get no targets, nothing. I don't know what happened.
We weren't sure if he was injured and they would just had him out there as fodder. No one ever said anything. It never.
Yeah, that was weird. So I'm not playing Will Fuller this week. Yeah. So now for the Steelers, Big Ben. Yeah, you can throw some Big Ben in there. I'm not really high on him this week. I think with the Texans defense, you can run on him. James Conner, he looked good against the Broncos last week. He had 106 yards. You can throw some James Conner in there. He'll be low owned. Deontay Johnson, you talked me into this one. I did say in the beginning of the year Deontay Johnson was terrible, but yeah, no, he's not. He's a stud. Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know what the deal with him is. He's not getting involved in the passing game as much. He did have a big game the first week against the Giants, but last week he kind of disappeared against the Broncos, and they were injury prone. So he didn't. I don't know what happened. He did have 7 catches for only 48 yards. He didn't have a game, but Chase Claypool, the rookie, three catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. And Deontay Johnson, like I said before, I like him in this game. They don't have good cornerbacks in Texas. You can throw on them, so I do like Deontay Johnson as my favorite play this week. What do you like?
Cooks will be my only play on Houston. His speed will always be a problem. Yes, David Johnson is going to get a lot more targets.
I didn't mention the tight ends. What do you think of the tight ends for the Texans?
Well, about David Johnson, he's going to get more targets, but this is a defense that held Barkley to 6 yards in the rushing, so he's going to have to rely on the passing. I'm just completely off him in general.
Yeah.
I'm not on the tight ends. Akins is interesting.
He had 7 catches last week.
He's
55 yards.
I mean, if you want to take a throw at him, for mass entries, he's definitely worth a shot.
And then Darian Fells had a touchdown, but only 2 catches, 23 yards. But that touchdown is big, though. He hit Valley with that.
Over on Pittsburgh, you can run all over Houston, all over them. So Connor is a solid play this week. Solid play, especially if you want to find a pivot off the chalkier running backs. And then I think Deontay Johnson, if I looked at the stat correctly, he is the 3rd most targeted wide receiver in the NFL right now. It's only 2 weeks in.
Yeah, and I said this guy sucked at the beginning of the year.
But Juju, Deontay Johnson, and Claypool are all beautiful targets for me. I'm off James Washington. He's really soon gonna be his spot's gonna be taken over by Claypool.
What about Eric Ebron, real quick?
Ebron, I think, finds the end zone this week.
Okay.
Honestly, Ben is a great play this week if you want to take a shot at him.
All right, we got the New York Jets versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are a big favorite. They're 11.5 favorite, and the over and under is 44 points.
11.5. That's so stupid.
All right, a lot of injuries here. Start with the Jets. Brashad Perriman, receiver, ankle, he's out. Braxton Berrios, I know you don't know who he is, but he's a receiver on the Jets. Hamstring injury. Limited practice, questionable. Jamison Crowder, he hamstring injury again, out. Le'Veon Bell, hamstring injury. There's a common theme in this one. Out. Denzel Mims, rookie receiver. Let me guess. Hamstring injury. Yes, hamstring injury. He's out. All right, the Colts. A couple injuries here. Malik Hooker, Achilles injury. He's out. Paris Campbell, MCL, out. Jack Doyle's coming back. Full practice. He's looking to play. He had an ankle injury. Marlon Mack, of course, ACL, out. And Trey Burton, calf, out. All right, so not much to say in this one. I think this is one of my least favorite games on the slate. Let's talk about the Jets. I'm fading the Jets. I don't like anybody on the Jets. Sam Darnold is trash in my eyes. He's not a good quarterback. He probably will get mono. I don't know. Maybe. Frank Gore looks like the starting running back. Had 21 carries, 63 yards. Not really high on that. Colts defense is actually good too, so I'm actually targeting the Colts defense a lot. I don't care if they're chalk or not. The game script is going to favor the Colts. They're going to be in the lead in this one. So, yeah, the Jets, I'm not going to... Just fade the Jets. Phillip Rivers, I'm not going to play him this week. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot with the stud guy, Jonathan Taylor. Listen, this guy, I wish I would have drafted him in all my leagues. I had chances to grab him, but with Marlon Mack there scared me, and I was like, nah, I'll wait. But then, look, Marlon Mack gets hurt first week, and Jonathan Taylor is a stud. I mean, he's going to be chalk this week. I think I'm going to eat this chalk as well. I'm very high on him, and I really like him as a football player. He looks amazing. They get him involved in the passing game. And Phillip Rivers, we all know, loves to target the quarterbacks. The running back, sorry. So play you some Jonathan Taylor. And then the rookie receiver on the Colts, I do like Michael Pittman Jr., but I'm not really high in the passing game. T.Y. Hilton will get his targets. He will get his catches, but play Jonathan Taylor.
For me, on the Colts, all the receivers are in. Hilton, Pittman, Jack Doyle. They're going to feast on the Jets. It's Jonathan Taylor's season still, and going forward, he's just a sexy beast. I don't know what to say about the Jets' trash-ass team.
I didn't mention Chris Hogan. What do you think about him this week?
You're talking about the Jets' trash-ass team. Someone on their team has to score at least fantasy points.
Yes.
So the only people I'm looking at is Hogan, Berrios, and Chris Herndon.
Yeah, Chris Hogan had 8 targets last week, so they're going to be playing from behind.
I'm going to have shares of them, but very minimal. The Colts' defense is a big defense I'm talking them this week.
All right, next game. We got my Denver Broncos versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 6.5-point favorite. The over and under is 42 points. Injuries, a lot of injuries for my Broncos, man. We're having a rough year so far.
You look like the Denver Donkeys right now.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I have to keep it 100 with you, but yeah, we got the injury bug. So let's go through all these injuries. Jerry Jeudy, full practice today, still questionable. He had rib injury. Cornerback Devontae Harris, hamstring, he's going to be out. Mark Barron, linebacker, hamstring, out. Philip Lindsay, toe, he's doubtful. Drew Lock, we all know, is out. Draymond Jones, PCL injury, out. Cortland Sutton, this one hurts. MCL, ACL, out for the season. That one hurts. It really does. And this one, and of course, my boy Von Miller, out. I don't want them to rush him back, but it looks like a lost season. But yeah, he's definitely out. And AJ Bouye, shoulder, out. So yeah, a lot of injuries. And yeah, so nothing for the Bucs to mention. But yeah, let's talk about the Broncos. We're on till Jeff Driscoll time. Last week, 18 for 34, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was sacked 6 times. Yeah, but that was against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Buccaneers defense is great as well. The front 7 is great. So Melvin Gordon, it looks like a downgrade this week, but since Lindsey's out, he's going to be involved in the passing game. So I'm not going to fade Melvin Gordon, because if we are falling behind, Jeff Driscoll will target him in the passing game. One thing about Jeff Driscoll I learned, he doesn't fade, he doesn't throw, he doesn't look the tight end way that I noticed. Noah Fant, obviously a stud. I love him. I'm not being biased. He is a stud. But I don't know. I'm not really liking him in this game. We'll see. Jerry Jeudy, if he plays, is the #1 target for me for Jeff Driscoll. KJ Hamler is a dart throw. I don't think people are going to be on him. So if you want a GPP play, KJ Hamler is a good one. So yeah, my Broncos are hurt, man. We're not looking good. But let's talk about the Buccaneers now. Tom Brady, historically doesn't do good against the Broncos, but this is not a good Broncos team at the moment. So yeah, he's gonna have a good game probably. Looks like Leonard Fournette might be stealing carries now from Ronald Jones. He had a good game last week.
For the people who thought Ronald Jones was going to stay the lead back, you did not go out and draft Keyshawn Vaughn. You did not sign Shady McCoy, and then you didn't sign Fournette because you thought Ronald Jones was the guy. It's showing right now that he is going away slowly. This is Fournette's team going forward.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so back to the Bucs. The Mike Evans. It looks like a Chris Godwin and Mike Evans feast is going to feast in this game. As you can see, all those injuries where all our cornerbacks are out. They have a rookie in there that they drafted in the 3rd round. He's going to be starting. Yeah, so target the Broncos defense this week. I hate to say it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. The tight ends is looking like a sketchy situation this year. News just broke out not too long ago, a couple days ago. Gronkowski is more of a blocker this year. I don't know. I mean, he's one of the best tight ends of all time, and they signed him to block. That makes no sense at all. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, O.J. Howard, great tight end as well. But yeah, I'm going to fade the tight ends in this one. Well, so what are you liking?
Yeah, the tight ends are just for blockers, just to keep Brady standing. Godwin and Evans are going to feast, and I'm just targeting them in this whole game. I'm not looking at Fournette. I'm completely fading Denver. There's nothing there I like, except maybe I do like KJ Hamler, and if the coaches, get Driscoll to target Font, he's one of the most talented tight ends in the league. I would like to see some Blake Bortles action come in. The best.
Oh God! Don't even
the
mention
best
that
garbage time quarterback.
I was embarrassed that we signed Blake Bortles, honestly. All right, the Carolina Panthers versus the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are a 6.5 favorite. The over and under is 43.5. Injuries for the Panthers: Russell Okon, full practice. Looks like he's questionable still. Christian McCaffrey, ankle. We all know he's out. And cornerback Eli Apple out. Chargers, Melvin Ingram, knee out. Running back Justin Jackson, quadriceps, doubtful. Tyrod Taylor is out. Mike Pouncey, hip out. And Derwin James, safety, out.
All right, I want to start off to talk about Herbert real quick. I was so excited when Josh Allen got drafted to the Bills. I thought that was like a perfect fit for him. Just as excited as when Herbert got drafted to the Chargers. I thought it was a perfect fit. He's my second favorite quarterback coming out of this draft. But I'm not going to let and he looked like a stud. He looked like an absolute stud. He made some great decisions, except for that one interception. But I'm not going to let all that get in the way of my my takes and everything. One thing you got to realize about that last game is no one knew he was starting, including the Chiefs, which means all week the Chiefs' defensive game plan was against Tyrod Taylor. If they had a week to plan, we might have saw a completely different game. So you got to take that into account. Going into this game against what I consider the Carolina to be like one of the worst teams this year, probably tanking, Herbert should again ball out. But between last week and this week is not enough evidence to know exactly how good he is this year. I think he's going to be a stud in years to come, but we don't have enough yet. When he goes up against a good team, you might actually see a lot of flaws. It's not going to be this week, though. Looking at his team, I love Joshua Kelly. I love Eckler. I love Hunter Henry. He was throwing a lot to Hunter Henry and Allen.
Yeah, 6 catches. Hunter Henry, 6 catches, 83 yards on 8 targets, and then Keenan Allen, 10 targets. He caught 7 of them for 96.
It was like Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry were like his safety blankets. He throws to them a lot. So now I think he's going to start doing the same thing with Eckler. Kelly's going to get involved. I think they're going to win this. I think Herbert takes this. Carolina is just pretty tragic, especially now with McCaffrey out. Interesting thing, Curtis Samuel has some upside because the coaches did say they want to actually get him involved in the running game. That's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are always in play though. I do like Robbie Anderson a lot this week. If you want to take anyone off that team, but I'm not interested in Mike Davis at all. But no, I'm really I'm taking the Chargers defense for sure.
Yep.
And a lot of plays there. I like a lot of different plays on the Chargers side.
All right. For me, I'm not high in this game. I'm probably gonna fade this game. There's a couple things I do like. For the Panthers, not really much here, man. I'm not a fan of Mike Davis. I know he's gonna get all the workload that Christian McCaffrey had, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. He's definitely not. So yeah, the Panthers playing from behind. DJ Moore, I like him. But these receivers, Roddy Anderson, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, they're good. They're all good, but the Chargers defense is pretty good. If anything, I do like the Chargers defense, but they're not going to shut everybody down. But DJ Moore is okay. Roddy Anderson every week it looks like a decent play, and Curtis Samuel, like you said, if they get him involved in the rushing game, all right, I might throw some shares with him. On the Chargers side, yeah, Justin Herbert. He looks okay. I mean, he did look good. I'm not gonna lie. Don't know much about him. I know a lot of guys, a lot of my friends, told me a lot of things about these quarterbacks, and Justin Herbert. I was always asked questions about him, and he did look good against the Chiefs. But nobody had film on him really besides college. Let's see what we can do. But on this game, I'm really targeting Austin Eckler, man. I think he's the play of the game. They got him involved like they wanted to in the passing game. So my favorite play is probably Austin Eckler. You always can have some shares with Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. Mike Williams had a bad game last week, but my Austin Eckler is my play. All right, the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are a 6-point favorite. And the over-under is 56. So, yeah, a lot of points going to be in this one. Injuries, line for the Lions, Desmond Trufant, he's out, cornerback. And then Kenny Golladay, limited practice, questionable, but looks like he might be playing his first game of the season. We'll see. And then the Cardinals, Christian Kirk, wide receiver, out. So that's a kind of a big one right there. All right, so this game is going to be a high-scoring affair. First with the Lions, Matt Stafford. I think I'm going to have some shares of Matt Stafford. If Kenny Golladay comes back, for sure I'm going to have some Matt Stafford. I like Marvin Jones Jr. as well. T.J. Hawkinson, I like him. Running backs, I'm going to stay away from the running backs. I am a fan of DeAndre Swift, the rookie. But they also have AP. They also have Kenyon Johnson. I mean, I'm just not really confident in playing. Unless the Lions really fall way behind, I guess DeAndre Swift will get a lot of backfield because he is the third down back. All right, the Cardinals. Kyle Murray is going to be chalked this week. He's going to be high owned. He's doing a lot on his legs. He's not showing much in the passing game. I mean, obviously with DeAndre Hopkins is the stud. That's always the killer stack that you got to go. Especially with Christian Kirk out, everybody's going to be on Hopkins and Kyle Murray stack. But for a good reason. The Lions defense isn't good. If for the Cardinals, you just gotta go with the chalk. Kyle Murray, Kenyon Drake, good. Actually, Kenyon Drake. Let's talk about that. I like him too. The Lions defense isn't just not showing much. I think if they run the ball, Kenyon Drake, they've been feeding him the ball a lot. They do have Chase Edmonds as well, but he's more of a third down back. So Larry Fitzgerald, if you want to throw him in there since Christian Kirk is out, but everybody's gonna be on Hopkins and Murray. So if you want to throw a dart throw on Andy Isabel, he's mainly of a deep threat. But since Christian Kirk is out, he's going to be a play. So what do you think?
I love that you said Andy Isabel. He's so fast. I do like him, but also Keyshawn Johnson. Both targets, if you're doing multiple entries into GPP, both of them are good targets. Like you said, Murray is chalk, but for a reason he is going to be a slam dunk. My favorite play is actually Larry Fitzgerald. I love him.
Wow, the living legend.
Just to try and stay away from that heavy chalk Hopkins. Not that I'm saying just stay away from him. He's Hopkins, but I think Larry Fitzgerald is just sneaky. Drake is my second favorite running back this week, behind Cook.
Interesting.
All on Drake. So if you look across the field, you normally always play the tight end against Arizona, but Arizona has been a different team this year. But I'm still using some Hawkinson. I'm on Hawkinson. I do like Swift. He's only about 2% owned from what I see, so I do like him, especially if he's involved in
Just made a trade for him recently in my season-long league.
I do like him. And with Galladay back, Matt Stafford is one of my favorite plays.
And last but not least, we got the chalkiest game of the slate. We got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a shootout, folks. The Seahawks are a 5-point favorite, and over and under is 57 points. Injuries, quite a few of them. Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence, knee, limited practice, questionable. Tyron Smith, tackle, neck, questionable. Sean Lee, sports hernia, out. Landon Venderish, collarbone, out. Blake Jarwin, ACL, out. For the Seahawks, Quinton Dunbar did not practice. Looks questionable. Bruce Irvin, ACL, out. Philip Dorsett, foot, out. And Rashad Penny, ACL, out. All right, let's get into this one. This is a good one. Yes, it's going to be chalky, but you gotta pick the right ones. First things first, Dak Prescott had a crazy game last week. Went 34 for 47, 450 yards. Only one passing touchdown, but damn, he had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Cowboys pulled that one out the ass.
Yes, that was a crazy game. But this is going to be another shootout. So Dak Prescott is definitely a play. Which guy are you going to pair him with? You choose. CeeDee Lamb, the rookie, he looks amazing so far. So Amari Cooper, Mike Gallup. If I was to choose one, I would just go with the lowest owned one. Who at this moment, who's looking the highest owned out of the 3?
I have to look at that. I believe it was CeeDee Lamb. The last
as you look up that, let me talk about Zeke Elliott. He's a lock. He's probably going to be chalk. I'm not sure. Maybe not. He's going to be the highest paid player salary wise on probably most of these sites. So all these other guys like Saquon Barkley's not on the main slate. Christian McCaffrey's not on the main slate. He's out. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. So people might fade Elliott just because he's the highest owned highest salary on the main slate. But we'll see. So yeah, the Cowboys definitely a good play.
CeeDee Lamb is the lowest owned.
Oh, lowest owned. So yeah, that my play would be CeeDee Lamb with Dak.
But he's still high owned.
Yeah, because this is chalk. So you know you got to go just basically choose your poison. And then with the Seahawks. Obviously, Russell Wilson. He just shredded one of the best secondaries in NFL last week. He had 5 touchdown passes?
So,
Yeah, he went crazy. But he only had 28 attempts, so he's just very efficient with the ball. Not many incompletions. So, yeah, you pair Russell Wilson with DJ Metcalf. I love him, man. He's just nobody can guard this guy. He's just a big body receiver. That's the thing nowadays. You got to get these big body receivers. They'll just outplay any cornerback that you throw out there. And then TJ Lockett, you can't forget about him. He's their deep threat, but he's a great receiver. So Russell Wilson, play him with Metcalf, Lockett, or play them both, whatever you choose. Chris Carson, the running back, let's not forget about him. He's getting involved in the passing game as well. I like him as well. What do you think?
Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are my 2 favorites. I would pair both of them together with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson it's only been 2 weeks, so the road MVP should not be thrown around yet. But he's looked very much like he should be in the conversation if he continues this way. No one else can throw the ball up like he can and make it just come down into the hands of his receivers on the run. It's a beautiful thing to watch. So you can lock all his receivers in. This is going to be such a high-scoring game. They're all chalky. But we've told you some GPP plays where you can afford some of the more expensive chalky plays. One thing about Dallas is their line is banged up bad. There's going to be a lot of blitz. There's going to be a lot of pressure. You can see a lot of dump-off passes to Zeke, which is why he is incredibly high-owned. He's still going to be able to get the ball out. It is Dak. It is the Cowboys. He's going to be under a lot of pressure, though, a lot of times. But I do like CeeDee Lamb the most out of the receivers.
Love him.
But you're going to see a lot.
Don't forget about Mike Gallup, though. I think everybody's going to be forgetting about him.
You're going to see a lot of lines tomorrow that's going to have literally the only receivers on their lines are going to be Cowboys.
There's going to be a lot of game stacks. Everyone's going to Cowboys, crazy. Seahawks.
If you need to get different from them, so I would say get one on Dallas, one on Seahawks, and then change the rest of the lineup. That's the only way you're going to get different tomorrow. All right. So like we always tell you every podcast, make sure you hit those 3 max entries, those single max entries. Do cash, guys. We make so much money weekly on just cash games. It's ridiculous. If you want to stay positive and in the green, make sure you have your cash games going. If you're taking the shots in the big GPPs.
Yes, cash games is the way to go, guys.
I love GPPs, but I want to make sure that my cash is there to always make sure that I never go red, ever. Listen. So you make sure that you follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, like, smash those buttons.
Smash those like buttons.
Smash those buttons.
Now, we would very appreciate that. It helps us a lot.
And then soon we're going to be doing some live shows. We're going to bring some of you guys on to talk with us. Listen, this is it. I'm telling you, it is time to jump on board and join this rebellion.